The great hall of the northern citadel reeked of fear and failing magic. Lirelei pressed herself against the cold stone wall, trying to become invisible among the crowd of pack members who had gathered to witness their Alpha King's final moments. She shouldn't be here. Rejected Omegas weren't permitted in the royal wing, but the kitchen corridors connected to everywhere if you knew which turns to take. Move aside for High Healer Garrett. Someone barked, and the crowd parted like water. Lirelei watched the realm's most renowned healer sweep past in his crimson robes, his face set with grim determination. He was the 7th healer summoned this week. The others had all fled the citadel with their heads bowed in failure. Through the gaps between bodies, she could see him Alpha King, Theron Nightshade, the most powerful wolf in 5 kingdoms, writhing on the marble floor. His massive frame convulsed as his wolf fought to break free, trapped beneath his skin in a battle that was killing them both. Black veins spiderwebbed across his bare chest, pulsing with each labored heartbeat. "Papa!" A small voice pierced the tense silence. Lirelei's heart clenched as she spotted Princess Sarabeth, barely 6 summers old, being held back by her governess. The child hadn't spoken a word since her mother's death 3 moons ago until now. "Let me see him." Sarabeth struggled against the governess's grip. "Papa needs me." The High Healer knelt beside the Alpha King, his hands glowing with golden healing light. The moment his magic touched Theron's skin, the Alpha's body arched violently off the floor. A howl tore from his throat, neither fully human nor wolf, but something agonizing in between. "By the moon goddess," Garrett gasped, jerking his hands back. "His wolf. It's being torn apart from the inside. This is no ordinary curse." "Then fix it." Prince Aldrich, the Alpha's younger brother, stepped forward. His perfectly styled silver hair and calculating eyes had always made Lirelei uneasy during her servant duties. "You're supposed to be the best healer in the realm." "I cannot heal what I cannot touch," Garrett said, rising shakily. "His wolf attacks any magic that comes near. It's as if the beast no longer recognizes friend from foe." Theron's body convulsed again, and this time blood trickled from his mouth. His eyes, when they opened, flickered between human amber and wolf gold, neither maintaining dominance. "How long?" Aldrich's voice was steady, too steady for a brother watching his sibling die. "Hours, perhaps less." A collective gasp rippled through the hall. Lirelei felt her chest tighten with unexpected grief. She'd only served in the Citadel for a season before her rejection, but she'd seen how fiercely the Alpha King protected his people. He didn't deserve this. "There must be something." The Beta commander stepped forward, his scarred face etched with desperation. "Some remedy we haven't tried." "We've tried. Everything," Garrett snapped. "Moonstone elixirs, wolfsbane purging, even dragon tears. Nothing can reach his wolf without sending it into deeper madness." Another convulsion racked Theron's body. This time, when he opened his eyes, they locked directly onto Lirelei's hiding spot. For one impossible moment, she could have sworn she saw recognition not of her, but of something within her. Help. The word didn't come through sound, but through something deeper, a pull in her very bones. Lirelei's hands began to tremble. The strange tingling that had plagued her since childhood, the one that had gotten her labeled as cursed, that had led to her rejection, suddenly blazed to life beneath her skin. "No," she whispered to herself. "Not here. Not now." But Theron's eyes remained fixed on her, and his lips formed a single word: "Please." Before she could think, before she could stop herself, Lirelei stepped out from the shadows. The crowd turned as one, shock rippling through the hall at the sight of a rejected Omega in sacred space. "What is that creature doing here?" Prince Aldrich's voice dripped with disgust. "Guards, wait." The word tore from Lirelei's throat, barely a whisper, but it carried. She hadn't spoken in public since her rejection ceremony. I might help." "You?" The High Healer laughed bitterly. "A rejected Omega with no training, no magic, no wolf? You think you can succeed where I have failed?" Lirelei's legs shook as she walked forward, the crowd parting in horrified fascination. She could hear their whispers. The cursed one, the girl who killed her own wolf, abomination. She knelt beside the Alpha King, and this close, she could see the true extent of his suffering. Sweat beaded on his bronze skin, muscles locked in perpetual tension. The black veins weren't just on his chest, they covered his entire body like a web of poison. "Don't touch him," Garrett warned. "His wolf will—" But Liralay's hand was already descending, pulled by that same bone-deep instinct that had drawn her forward. The moment her fingertips grazed Theron's burning skin, three things happened simultaneously. First, the Alpha King's body went completely still, the first peace he'd known in days. Second, a shockwave of power exploded from the point of contact, sending everyone except Liralay stumbling backward. Third, Theron's eyes snapped open, pure wolf gold, and his hand shot up to grab her wrist in an unbreakable grip. When he spoke, his voice was layered with his wolf's primal growl. "Mate. Mine," claimed. His canines elongated, and before anyone could react, he'd pulled her down and sunk his teeth into the junction between her neck and shoulder, the claiming bite that could never be undone. Pain and pleasure crashed through Liralay in waves so intense she couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. The Alpha King's teeth remained locked in her shoulder, his wolf's claiming absolute and irrevocable. She could feel something, fundamental shifting inside her, like tectonic plates realigning in her soul. When Theron finally released her, his eyes were clear, amber, human, and aware for the first time in days. Her blood stained his lips as he stared at her in dawning horror. "What have I done?" he whispered, his voice hoarse from screaming. "Blasphemy!" Prince Aldrich's roar shattered the stunned silence. "He's claimed a rejected Omega. The curse has driven him mad." Liralay touched her neck, fingers coming away crimson. The bite mark burned, but beneath the pain, something else pulsed, a connection she could feel stretching between her and the Alpha King like a golden thread. "Seize her," Aldrich commanded the guards. "She's clearly bewitched our king in his delirium. No one touches her." Theron's voice was quiet, but it carried the full weight of an Alpha's command. He struggled to sit up, and Liralay instinctively reached out to steady him. The moment their skin connected again, the black veins on his body faded by a fraction. "Unheard of," High Healer Garrett breathed, stepping closer. "The curse is retreating?" "She's a witch," someone in the crowd shouted. "No Omega could affect an Alpha's wolf." "I'm not," Liralay started to protest, but her voice failed her. The rejection ceremony had damaged more than just her standing, it had stolen most of her voice, leaving her with barely a whisper. "Papa?" Princess Sarabeth broke free from her governess, running toward them. She skidded to a stop just short of Liralay, amber eyes so like her father's wide with wonder. "Your light is pretty." "What light?" Aldrich demanded. But Sarabeth was already reaching for Liralay's hand. The moment the child's fingers touched hers, Liralay gasped. She could see it through Sarabeth's eyes, a soft silver glow emanating from her skin, invisible to adult eyes but clear as day to the innocent. "She makes the hurt go away," Sarabeth said, turning to her father. "Like Mama used to." The hall erupted in chaos. Mentions of the late queen, a mysterious woman Theron had found dying in the forest and claimed against all protocol, were forbidden. That she'd possessed strange abilities was a closely guarded secret. "Enough," Theron commanded, and silence fell. He tried to stand, swayed, and Liralay caught him without thinking. The moment she did, his wolf settled further, the violent tension that had racked his frame for days easing like a tide going out. "You," he said, looking down at her. "What's your name?" Liralay, she managed, hating how broken her voice sounded. "Liralay." He said it like a prayer, then louder, addressing the hall. "This woman is my mate, chosen by my wolf, and blessed by the moon goddess herself. Any who challenge this claiming challenge me." "Brother," Aldrich stepped forward, his face a mask of concern, though something flickered in his eyes. Uncertainty, perhaps even the first seeds of doubt about his own actions. "You're not well. The curse has affected your judgment. Surely once you recover, you'll see the impossibility of this match. A rejected Omega cannot be Luna Queen." "Cannot?" Theron's eyes flashed gold. "I decide what can and cannot be in my kingdom." But even as he spoke, Liralay felt him trembling against her. The brief clarity was fading, the curse fighting back. The black veins, which had retreated, began advancing again. "My lord," High Healer Garrett approached cautiously. The claiming has bought time, but the curse remains. May I examine the bond? Theron nodded, though his grip on Lirelei tightened possessively. Garrett's hands glowed as he held them over where their bodies touched, his expression growing increasingly puzzled. This defies all known laws, he murmured. The Omega's wolf. She has no wolf, Aldrich interjected. That's why she was rejected. Born broken, wolfless, cursed. Her wolf isn't gone, Garrett interrupted, his voice filled with awe. It's sleeping, hidden, so deep inside her that our ceremonies couldn't detect it. But the Alpha's claiming it's calling to it, trying to wake it. Lirelei's world tilted. Her whole life, she'd been told her wolf was dead, that she was an abomination. The rejection ceremony at 16 had confirmed it when she'd failed to shift under the full moon. That's why, Theron said suddenly, his breathing becoming labored. My wolf recognized what others couldn't see. You were never broken, Lirelei. You were waiting. His legs buckled, and they both went to their knees. The black veins surged across his skin like living shadows, and his wolf howled in agony behind his eyes. No, Lirelei pressed both hands to his chest, desperate. The tingling under her skin intensified, and for a moment, just a moment, silver light flared between them. The veins retreated again, but not as far as before. It's fighting her, Garrett observed. The curse recognizes her as a threat. Then we eliminate the threat, Aldrich said, coldly, though his voice carried less conviction than before. If she dies, the incomplete bond will— Theron's hand shot out, catching his brother by the throat. His claws extended, drawing drops of blood. Finish that sentence, and you'll lose your tongue. You're proving my point, Aldrich gasped, genuine fear entering his voice for the first time. The violence, the lack of control, you're going feral. The council will never accept. A horn blast cut through the tension, 3 long notes that meant only one thing. The Council of Elders was convening. Perfect timing, Aldrich said, rubbing his throat, though his smile seemed forced. They'll sort this out. Theron released him, turning to Lirelei. Can you stand? She nodded, though her legs felt like water. The claiming bite throbbed, and she could feel his emotions through it, pain, fury, and underneath it all, a desperate protectiveness that took her breath away. Papa, I'll help. Sarabeth grabbed Lirelei's other hand, and together they supported the Alpha King as they made their way to the council chamber. Behind them, Lirelei heard Aldrich speaking quietly to someone. Send word to the Forsaken Pack. Tell them we found their escaped Omega. I'm sure they'll want her back to finish what they started. Ice flooded Lirelei's veins. The Forsaken Pack, the ones who had rejected her, who had tried to force her into things she'd rather die than remember. If they came for her. Theron's hand found hers, squeezing gently. Through their new bond, she felt his promise. No one will take you from me. But as they entered the council chamber, and she saw the 5 ancient elders seated in judgment, their faces carved from centuries of rigid tradition, she wondered if even an Alpha King could keep such a promise. Elder Matthias, the most senior, stood slowly. Theron Nightshade, you stand accused of violating sacred law by claiming a rejected Omega. The punishment for such blasphemy is— Wait, Sarabeth's voice rang out. Look at what happens when she stops touching him. Before anyone could stop her, the little princess yanked Lirelei away from her father. The effect was instantaneous and horrifying. Theron collapsed, his body convulsing as the black veins surged across his skin like a dam bursting. His wolf's howl of agony echoed off the stone walls. Stop! Lirelei broke free, dropping beside him. But when she reached for him, her hands passed right through his body as if he were made of mist. No! She gasped, trying again. Her fingers found nothing but air. What's happening? The council's judgment has begun, Elder Matthias intoned. The sacred laws are absolute. An improper claiming must be severed. You are being removed from each other's reality. In moments, it will be as if the bond never existed. Lirelei watched in horror as Theron became more translucent with each passing second. His mouth formed her name, but she could no longer hear him. The claiming mark on her shoulder began to burn like acid. Please, she begged, her broken voice cracking. You're killing him. The Alpha King's death is regrettable, Elder Matthias said coldly. But the law, he never finished the sentence. Something deep inside Lirelei, deeper than bone, deeper than soul, suddenly roared to life. Her vision went silver, and when she screamed, it wasn't with her broken human voice. It was the howl of a wolf that should not exist. The howl that tore from Lirelei's throat shattered every glass surface in the council chamber. But it wasn't just sound, it was pure, primal power that made even the ancient elders step back. Her eyes, normally brown, blazed silver-white like captured moonlight. Beyond comprehension, Elder Matthias breathed. That's the howl of a Luna wolf, Elder Catherine finished, her weathered face pale with shock. But they've been extinct for 3 centuries. Lirelei barely heard them. Every cell in her body was on fire, her hidden wolf, clawing its way to the surface after 18 years of slumber. She could feel it, her magnificent and furious, raging against the spell that tried to sever her from Theron. The translucent form of the Alpha King solidified slightly, his amber eyes wide with amazement. Through their bond, she felt his wolf's recognition. Ancient, powerful, ours. Stop the severance, High Healer Garrett shouted. You don't understand what you're dealing with. A Luna wolf bonded to an alpha. If you break it by force, the backlash could— Silence! Elder Matthias raised his staff, but the wooden artifact splintered in his hands as another wave of power pulsed from Lirelei. The law is clear. A rejected Omega cannot— I was never rejected by the moon goddess, Lirelei interrupted, her voice no longer a whisper but ringing with otherworldly authority. The words came from somewhere deeper than memory, older than thought. I was hidden, protected, waiting for my true mate to be worthy of awakening. Me, Prince Aldrich laughed, though the sound held a nervous edge. Convenient mythology won't save you, Omega. You're still claimed by the Forsaken Pack's rejection. Their mark means nothing. Lirelei stood slowly, silver light radiating from her skin. She pulled down her collar, revealing the ugly scar where the rejection brand should be. But as they watched, the scar began to shimmer and reshape, forming into an ancient symbol, a crescent moon cradling a wolf. The mark of Selene, Elder Catherine gasped, falling to her knees. She bears the moon goddess's own seal. Tricks! Aldrich snarled, but his voice wavered, genuine doubt clouding his features. She's a witch using illusions. His words cut off as Lirelei turned her silver gaze on him. You poisoned him. The knowledge came to her with crystal clarity through her awakening power. You've been feeding him wolfsbane extract mixed with dark magic, hoping to drive his wolf mad. You wanted him to go feral so the council would put him down and you could claim the throne. Lies! Aldrich reached for his sword, his hand trembling slightly. But Theron, now fully solid again, moved faster than lightning. He caught his brother's wrist, and this time, his control was absolute. Is that why you insisted on preparing my meals personally these past weeks? Theron's voice was deadly quiet. Your concern for my health was touching, brother. You can't prove anything, Aldrich said, though sweat beaded on his forehead. I can. Sarabeth stepped forward, her small face serious. Uncle Aldrich put the black drink in Papa's cup. I saw him. He said it was medicine, but it smelled wrong. Like the bad flowers Mama told me never to touch. And she pulled out a small silver locket from beneath her dress. Mama's spirit bound this locket with moon magic before she died. It can reveal truth 3 times, only she told me to save them for when they matter most. A child's testimony means nothing, Aldrich began. A royal child who carries her mother's sight means everything. Elder Catherine interrupted, still kneeling. The princess cannot lie about what she's seen. It's impossible. The other elders were murmuring among themselves, the rigid certainty of moments ago crumbling. Elder Matthias looked between Lirelei and Theron, calculation replacing condemnation in his ancient eyes. If what the Omega claims is true, he said slowly, if she truly is a Luna wolf, then the old laws apply. The Lunar Codex, not the common pack law. The Lunar Codex was destroyed, Aldrich said quickly. Too quickly. No. Elder Catherine rose, her voice gaining strength. It was hidden, and I know where. She turned to Lirelei. But only a true Luna wolf can retrieve it. It's protected by tests that will kill any pretender. More delays. Aldrich's composure cracked, revealing genuine panic. While you chase fairy tales, our pack appears weak. The surrounding kingdoms already whisper that the northern citadel falls because you've been sending them those whispers, Theron said, understanding dawning in his eyes. You've been orchestrating this for months. Years, perhaps. But why, brother? Was the throne truly worth? Before Aldrich could respond, a horn blast echoed through the citadel 5 sharp notes. Visitors at the gates. Hostile visitors. A guard burst into the chamber. My lords, the Forsaken Pack has arrived. Their alpha, Cain Bloodmoon, demands the return of their rejected Omega. He's brought an army. Lirelay's blood turned to ice. Cain the alpha who'd wanted to claim her by force when she couldn't shift, who'd branded her with rejection when she'd fought back. The mark on her shoulder might have transformed, but the memories remained like poison. Perfect, Aldrich said, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. Let's see how the council handles this. Will you start a war over a rejected Omega, brother? Or will you follow the law and surrender her? Theron pulled Lirelay against him, his voice dropping to a growl. I'll paint the walls with the blood of anyone who tries to take her. And that, Elder Matthias said heavily, is precisely the problem. Your judgment is compromised. The wolf, madness might be poison, induced, but the violent possessiveness, that's all you. He turned to Lirelay. You have 1 hour to retrieve the Lunar Codex and prove your claim. If you fail, you'll be returned to the Forsaken Pack, and the claiming will be dissolved. She's not going alone, Theron said immediately. She must. The tests will kill anyone not of Luna blood. Elder Catherine's expression was sympathetic but firm. This is her trial, Alpha King. You cannot fight it for her. But I can. Sarabeth stepped forward, taking Lirelay's hand. Mama told me in a dream. She said when the Silver Lady came, I should help her find the Moon Book. She said it's my purpose. The locket will protect me when needed. Absolutely not, Theron said. I won't risk. My daughter, Papa. Sarabeth's voice was steady, older than her 6 years. Mama said if I don't help, everyone dies. The bad uncle wins, and the darkness comes. I have to go. Through the bond, Lirelay felt Theron's anguish, the war between his need to protect his daughter and his trust in his late mate's visions. She squeezed his hand, trying to send comfort through their connection. Cain Bloodmoon grows impatient. Another guard appeared. He says if the Omega isn't produced in 10 minutes, he'll consider it an act of war. Stall him, Theron commanded. Tell him she's being prepared for transfer. That should buy us time. Elder Catherine led them to a hidden door behind the council throne. The path to the Codex begins here. But child, she looked at Lirelay with ancient sadness. Many Luna wolves have tried this trial. None have returned. What makes you think I'm different? Lirelay asked, her moment of power fading back to uncertainty. Because you're still, breathing after a claiming bite while wolf-less, the elder replied. That alone makes you the strongest Luna candidate in a millennium, but strength alone won't be enough. The trial tests 3 things: courage, sacrifice, and truth. Fail anyone, and you'll join the bones of those who came before. Theron cupped Lirelay's face, his amber eyes burning with intensity. I can't lose you, not when I just found you. She wanted to promise she'd return, but the words stuck in her throat. Instead, she rose on her toes and pressed her lips to his, their first kiss, possibly their last. Fire raced through her veins, and for a moment, their wolves touched across the bond, singing in harmony. Touching. Aldrich's voice cut through the moment, and for the first time, genuine regret flickered across his face. Brother, I never meant for it to go this far. A crash echoed from somewhere above the sound of doors being broken down. Save your apologies, Theron said coldly. We'll settle accounts when this is over. They're in the Citadel, a guard shouted. The Forsaken Pack is fighting their way to the throne room. Go, Theron pushed Lirelay toward the hidden door. Go now. She grabbed Sarabeth's hand and plunged into the darkness beyond the door. Behind them, she heard Theron's roar of challenge as he went to face Cain, and her heart clenched, knowing she might be leading his daughter to her death. The passage descended steeply, lit by phosphorescent moss that pulsed like a heartbeat. With each step, Lorelei felt the weight of centuries pressing down. The walls were carved with scenes of Luna wolves in their glory days, massive silver beings that stood between the human and divine. "I'm scared," Sarabeth whispered, the first crack in her brave facade. "Me too," Lorelei admitted, squeezing the girl's hand. "But we're together. That has to count for something." They reached a circular chamber where 3 passages branched off, each marked with a different symbol: a blade, a tear, and a mirror. "Courage, sacrifice, and truth," Lorelei murmured. "But which first?" A woman's voice, soft as moonlight, whispered through the chamber. "The one who would be Luna must face her deepest fear before all else. Choose poorly, and the child dies first." Lorelei's hands shook as she stared at the 3 passages. Above them, she could hear the clash of battle. Time was running out, and one wrong choice would kill the precious child holding her hand. "Wait," Sarabeth said suddenly, her amber eyes going wide. Mama says the real test isn't choosing." She looked up at Lorelei with 2 wise eyes. "It's understanding that all 3 paths lead to the same place, but only one of us can walk each path and survive. The locket will guide me when I need it most, but not yet. I must save its power." The temperature in the chamber plummeted as the truth hit Lorelei like a physical blow. To save everyone, she'd have to send a 6-year-old child into mortal danger alone. "No," she said immediately. "There has to be another way." The ceiling began to crack, dust raining down. The battle above was literally bringing the citadel down on their heads. "Choose now," the voice commanded, "or both perish, and with you, all hope dies." "I'll take the blade path," Sarabeth said with impossible calm for a 6-year-old. "Mama trained me in dreams. She knew this day would come. The locket will protect me when I truly need it." "Sarabeth, no." Lorelei knelt before the child, her heart breaking. "Your father would never forgive me if... Papa will die without you." The little princess touched Lorelei's face with gentle fingers. "The poison Uncle gave him is still there. Only you can burn it out completely. But first, you need the moonbook's power." Another crash from above, dust and pebbles raining harder now. Through the bond, Lorelei felt Theron's rage and desperation as he fought. She caught flashes of emotion. Cain had brought 50 warriors. The northern pack was outnumbered 3-1. "The tear path is yours," Sarabeth continued, wise beyond her years. "Mama said the Luna must learn that sacrifice isn't about dying. It's about living with the weight of others' pain." "And the mirror?" Lorelei asked, though she already suspected. "We walk together in spirit, but our bodies must separate." Sarabeth touched the locket at her throat. "I know it has 3 charges of moon magic. I'll use them only when absolutely necessary." The voice echoed again, impatient now. "Choose, or all paths close forever." With shaking hands, Lorelei hugged the child tight, memorizing her warmth, her courage. "If something happens..." "It won't." Sarabeth pulled back, her amber eyes glowing faintly. "Mama promised. But Luna, Mother, you have to trust me. Can you do that?" Luna, Mother. The title hit Lorelei like a physical blow. This child, who'd lost her mother, was already accepting her. The weight of that responsibility made her knees weak. "I trust you," Lorelei whispered. They separated at the threshold. Sarabeth walked into the blade passage without looking back, her small form swallowed by shadows. Lorelei forced herself to turn away, to enter the tear passage even as every instinct screamed to protect the child. The moment she crossed the threshold, the passage sealed behind her. She was alone in absolute darkness. Then the visions began. She saw Theron, younger, finding a woman in the forest, Sarabeth's mother, Celeste. The woman was dying, silver blood pooling beneath her. A Luna wolf, the last of her kind, hunted by those who feared her power. "Claim me," Celeste had begged. "Not for love, but for the child I carry. She'll be needed when the silver moon rises again." The vision shifted. Lorelei saw her own parents, faces she'd never known. Her mother, heavily pregnant, running through woods while something monstrous pursued. Her father, turning to fight, dying to buy time. "Hide her, wolf." Her mother had gasped to a hedge witch. Hide it so deep even she won't know. The Forsaken Pack can't know what she is. When she's grown, when her true mate calls, only then let her wake. Another shift. Aldrich, meeting with Cain Bloodmoon in secret 1 year ago. I need stronger remedies for my brother's insomnia, Aldrich was saying, his eyes slightly glazed, a sign of magical compulsion she now recognized. These vitamins you recommended will help immensely, Cain had smiled cruelly. Share them with your brother daily, and when he's weak enough, I'll arrive to claim what's mine, the hidden Luna Wolf your servants whisper about. Together, we'll rule both territories. Lirelei understood now. Aldrich had been Cain's puppet for a full year, unknowingly poisoning his brother with every vitamin he shared. The betrayal was real, but not entirely willing. The visions continued relentlessly. She saw every moment of pain she'd caused others, the healer who'd been punished for failing to wake her, Wolf, the Omega friends who'd been rejected by association, the guards who'd been whipped for allowing her to escape the Forsaken Pack. This is sacrifice, the ancient voice whispered. Not your own pain, but witnessing the pain your existence has caused others. Can you bear it? Can you live knowing the weight of these sorrows? Yes, Lirelei sobbed, but she kept walking. Each step revealed another tragedy, another life touched by the ripples of her hidden nature. Then she saw Theron, in the present, being overwhelmed. Cain had him pinned, claws at his throat, but she also saw something else, 20 of Cain's 50 warriors standing back, refusing to fight. They recognized dishonor when they saw it. Where is she? Cain snarled. My Omega, my property. She's no one's property. Theron spat blood. And she's not yours. She never was. The rejection brand says otherwise. Cain pressed his claws deeper. Though I'll admit, I prefer her sister's submission. Katara never fought back, like Lirelei did. Sister? Lirelei's heart stopped. She had a sister? The vision shifted one more time. A young woman, identical to Lirelei but with dead eyes, heavy with child in the Forsaken Pack's dungeons. Soon, Cain's voice echoed in the vision. I'll have both Luna daughters. The prophecy spoke of twins, one of light, one of shadow. I already broke the shadow. Now I'll break the light. The passage suddenly opened into a vast chamber where tears fell like rain from an invisible sky. In the center sat a pool of silver water, and within it, a pedestal holding half of an ancient book, the Lunar Codex, split in two. But standing guard over it was herself, or rather, a perfect reflection with black eyes instead of brown. Hello, sister, the shadow, Lirelei said. I am what you could become if you fail. The broken Luna, the dark moon rising, Cain's creature, bearing monsters for his ambition. You're not real, aren't I? The shadow stepped forward. I'm the path of least resistance. Submit to Cain. Save Theron from dying in battle. Save Sarabeth from the trials. All you have to do is surrender. And become a breeding slave? Lirelei's wolf, newly awakened, snarled inside her. Or fight me and risk everyone dying while you indulge your pride. The shadow circled her. That's the real sacrifice, choosing between your freedom and their lives. Through the bond, Lirelei felt Theron weakening. Time was running out. There's another way, she said suddenly, understanding flooding through her. You're not my shadow. You're my sister's spirit, aren't you? Katara, you're reaching out through our twin bond. The shadow's face flickered, brown eyes appearing for just a moment, eyes full of pain and desperate hope. Help me, Katara's true voice broke through. Please, I can't do this alone anymore. Lirelei reached for the shadow, and instead of fighting, she embraced it. Pain lanced through her as she took on half her sister's suffering, sharing the burden that had broken Katara alone. Together, Lirelei gasped. We survived together. The shadow merged with her, and suddenly she could feel Katara weak but alive, imprisoned but not broken beyond hope. The pool of tears cleared, revealing the first half of the Lunar Codex floating within reach. As her fingers closed around it, knowledge flooded her mind spells, rituals, the true history of Luna wolves, and most importantly, how to break an alpha's forced claim without killing the victim. Sarabeth, she called out, and miraculously, the child's voice answered from everywhere and nowhere. I'm here. I got the second half. The blade wasn't meant to cut, it was meant to reflect truth. I didn't need the locket yet. The chamber began to collapse. Lirelei ran toward the sound of Sarabeth's voice, the half-codex clutched to her chest. She found the girl standing before a mirror made of starlight, holding the other half of the book. Together, Sarabeth shouted over the roar of falling stone. They pressed the two halves together, and the codex blazed with moonlight. The collapsing chamber froze, then began to rise, lifting them up through solid stone as if it were water. They emerged in the throne room just as Cain's claws pierced Theron's chest. No! Lirelei's scream shattered every window in the citadel, but this time, she didn't just howl. Her body exploded into silver light, and when it faded, a massive silver wolf stood where she'd been larger than any wolf that had lived for centuries. Cain stumbled backward, his eyes wide with terror and desire. The Luna Prime. You're not just a Luna wolf, you're the Luna Prime. Behind him, 30 of his 50 warriors fell to their knees, while the remaining 20 had already surrendered to the Northern Pack. Even Aldrich went pale, tears of genuine remorse streaming down his face. The Luna Prime is myth-made flesh, Elder Matthias breathed. The mother of all wolves, the moon goddess's own daughter. Lirelei's wolf spoke, her voice echoing in everyone's minds. I am what was hidden. I am what was prophesied. And you, Cain Bloodmoon, have touched what is mine. She padded toward Theron's fallen form, each step leaving prints of silver fire. Cain tried to run, but her power held him frozen. With infinite gentleness, she lowered her massive head to Theron's chest, breathing silver light into his wounds. The Codex, Sarabeth said urgently, holding up the restored book. Page 307, the cleansing rite. But as Lirelei began to shift back to human form to read it, Cain broke free from her hold, grabbing Sarabeth by the throat. One move, and I snap her neck, he snarled. Luna Prime or not, you can't heal the dead. Cain's claws pressed against Sarabeth's delicate throat, a single drop of blood welling where the sharp tip broke skin. The entire throne room held its breath. Northern Pack warriors, the surrendered Forsaken Pack members, and the Council of Elders all, frozen in terrible anticipation. Let her go, Lirelei said, her voice carrying the dual-toned resonance of human and wolf. Your quarrel is with me. My quarrel? Cain laughed, the sound edged with madness. You were supposed to be weak, broken, a rejected Omega I could claim and use. His grip on Sarabeth tightened. Do you know what your sister screams when I visit her cell? She screams your name, begging for you to save her. Rage threatened to consume Lirelei, her newly awakened wolf demanding blood. But Sarabeth's eyes met hers calm, trusting, meaningful. The child's lips moved silently. First charge. Now. You want a Luna Prime? Lirelei stepped forward slowly. Then face me properly, honorably. Or are you such a coward that you need a child as shield? Coward? Cain's ego flared exactly as she'd hoped. I am alpha of the largest pack in the Eastern Territories. I've killed 17 challengers. And yet you hide behind a 6-year-old. Aldrich said suddenly, his voice thick with self-loathing. Just as you hid behind me, using my trust to poison my brother. I was a fool, brother. He looked at Theron with genuine anguish. I wanted the throne, yes, but never through such dishonor. Cain's compulsion magic made me susceptible, but my ambition made me blind. Cain snarled, his attention splitting between multiple threats. In that moment of distraction, Sarabeth grabbed the locket at her throat and squeezed. It burst with brilliant light, not silver like Lirelei's power, but pure golden sunlight. Mama says hello, the child whispered, and Cain screamed as his skin began to burn where the light touched. Celeste's spirit materialized, translucent but undeniable, standing between Cain and her daughter. Hello, little moon, she said to Sarabeth, then turned to Lirelei. Quickly, while this first charge holds him. The cleansing rite, you don't need to read it. You are it. Trust your wolf. Cain tried to attack the spirit, but his claws passed harmlessly, and through her. The 30 Forsaken warriors who'd knelt remained down, while the 20 who'd surrendered earlier backed further away, wanting no part of their alpha's dishonor. Lirelei didn't hesitate. She placed her hands on Theron's chest, where Cain's claws had left 5 deep punctures dangerously close to his heart. But instead of trying to heal them directly, she let her wolf guide her. Silver light flowed from her palms, but this time it didn't just touch his body, it dove deeper, into the very essence of his being where the poison had taken root. She could see it now, a web of corruption that had been feeding on his wolf's rage for a full year. "That's it," Celeste's spirit encouraged. "But you're only seeing half. The poison has a source that must be severed." Lirelei followed the poisonous threads back, and they led to Cain. Her eyes snapped open in shock. "You," she breathed, staring at the scarred alpha. "You've been poisoning him for a year through Aldrich. Not just months, a full year." Cain's expression shifted from rage to cruel satisfaction. "Blood magic, little Luna. When Aldrich sought me out for sleeping drafts, his guilty conscience keeping him awake, I gave him my blood mixed with herbs. Every vitamin he shared with his brother carried my essence, my will. The fool never knew he was my puppet." Aldrich fell to his knees, the full horror of his unwitting betrayal crashing over him. "A year. Gods forgive me. A full year I poisoned you. Theron, there are no words, no apologies sufficient." "The question now," Cain said, still held by Celeste's fading light, "is can your Luna Prime cleanse blood magic that's had a year to take root, or will saving him kill her?" Lirelei understood the trap now. The blood magic was designed to be fatal, to remove either to the victim or the healer. It was why none of the other healers could even touch Theron without his wolf attacking. But she wasn't just any healer. "Sarabeth," she said calmly, "bring me the codex, page 1, the origin story." The child, freed from Cain's grip, ran to deliver the ancient book. Lirelei didn't need to read it. Touching it was enough. Knowledge flooded through her, the first Luna Prime, who had loved an alpha cursed by a jealous god. She had taken his curse into herself and transformed it into power. "You're insane," High Healer Garrett protested, understanding what she intended. "Taking blood magic into yourself, it could corrupt your wolf permanently. Or," Lirelei said, meeting Theron's barely conscious gaze, "I could transform it. Poison into power, curse into blessing. That's what Luna Primes do. We don't just heal, we transform." Theron's hand caught hers weakly. "Don't," he rasped. "Not worth your life." "You're worth everything," she replied, then looked at Cain. "And when I'm done with him, you're next. My sister's blood calls to me through your forced claim. I'm going to free her. You can't break an alpha claim without killing the Omega. Watch me." Celeste's spirit was flickering now, the first charge nearly spent. "Hurry, daughter of my heart." Lirelei placed both hands over Theron's heart and let her wolf fully surface. But instead of shifting physically, she shifted spiritually, her consciousness diving into Theron's body to where his wolf lay dying. The corruption was everywhere, black veins of poison that had wrapped around his wolf's essence like chains. But now she could see their true nature, not just poison, but Cain's will, his malicious intent given form. "Hello, beautiful," Theron's wolf whispered weakly. "Come to watch me die?" "Come to save you," her wolf replied. "But it's going to hurt. Everything hurts. What's a little more?" She began pulling the poison into herself, and agony exploded through every nerve. Cain's blood magic fought her, trying to corrupt her wolf as she absorbed it. She could hear Cain laughing in the physical world. "Yes, take it all. Let it transform you into something dark." But Lirelei had something Cain didn't count on: her sister's presence, still connected through their twin bond. As the poison entered her, Katara's spirit reached out through their connection, sharing the burden between them. Together, Katara whispered across the distance, "We're stronger together." The poison split between them, diluted, manageable. And then Lirelei did something extraordinary. She began to purify it, using her Luna Prime nature to transform Cain's malicious intent into something else entirely. Love, she realized. The opposite of his cruelty is love. She pushed the transformed energy back into Theron, but now, instead of poison, it was liquid moonlight, healing him from the inside out. His wolf surged back to life, stronger than before, howling its joy across their bond. In the physical world, Theron's body arched off the ground, his wounds closing, the black veins disappearing completely. When his eyes opened, they blazed with renewed power. but the effort cost Lorelei dearly. She collapsed beside him, her skin pale, her breathing shallow. The blood magic might be transformed, but the toll was devastating. No! Theron caught her, cradling her against his chest. Lorelei, stay with me. Cain tried to run, but Celeste's spirit gave one last surge before fading completely. It was enough. Theron's hand shot out, catching Cain by the throat. You poisoned me. You tortured her sister. You tried to kill my daughter. Theron's voice was calm, which made it infinitely more terrifying. Give me one reason not to tear your throat out right now. Pack law, Cain gasped. Kill an alpha without formal challenge and both packs die. It was true. The magical bonds between alpha and pack would cause a backlash if Cain died without proper challenge. Then I challenge you, Aldrich said suddenly, stepping forward, his face set with grim determination. I, Aldrich Nightshade, challenge Cain Bloodmoon for the crime of using me to betray my own blood. Let me earn redemption through combat. Everyone turned to stare at the younger prince in shock. You're not an alpha, Cain sneered, though fear flickered in his eyes. No, Aldrich agreed. But I'm a brother who finally understands what family means. He looked at Theron, tears streaming down his face. I know I can never undo what I've done, but let me try to make it right. Please. You can't fight him, Theron said quietly. He'll kill you. Then I'll die with honor instead of living with shame. Aldrich drew his sword. Unless the Luna Prime has another way? All eyes turned to Lorelei, who was struggling to remain conscious in Theron's arms. She managed to focus on the restored codex, its pages fluttering open to a passage that glowed with soft light. The Unity Rite, she whispered. Cain's blood runs in Aldrich's veins from a year of poisoning. We can use that connection. Reverse it. Pull Cain's alpha power through the blood bond. That defies natural law, Elder. Matthias protested. Not stolen, Lorelei corrected weakly. Reclaimed. Cain stole his alpha status through treachery. He killed the previous Forsaken Alpha with poison, not combat. The power was never truly his. It will return to the moon, to be granted where it will. Cain's face went ashen. How could you know that? Because my sister watched you do it, Lorelei said. And now she's in my head, sharing every secret you thought was safe. The ritual began, silver light pulling Cain's power through his connection to Aldrich. Cain screamed as his alpha essence was ripped away, but instead of going to Aldrich, it formed a sphere of pure energy that hovered in the air. The moon chooses, Elder Catherine whispered in awe. The sphere circled once, twice, then dove straight into Lorelei's heart. It chose her because she alone had proven worthy, willing to sacrifice everything for love. The sphere of alpha power slammed into Lorelei's chest with devastating force. Her body convulsed in Theron's arms as raw energy coursed through every cell. This wasn't just Cain's stolen power, it was the original alpha essence, purified and reborn. Too much! High Healer Garrett rushed forward. Her body can't contain both Luna Prime and alpha essence. It'll tear her apart. Indeed, silver and gold light warred beneath Lorelei's skin, creating a webwork of glowing veins. Her wolf, already massive in its spiritual form, was evolving into something beyond precedent. Do something, Theron roared at the elders. We're witnessing the impossible, Elder Matthias breathed. A Luna Alpha, the first in creation. If she survives, when she survives, Cerebeth interrupted fiercely, kneeling beside Lorelei. Mama, please! The second charge, use it now! The locket glowed again, weaker than before. Celeste's spirit materialized, translucent and fading. She needs an anchor, someone to share the burden. Her mate? Yes, Theron said without hesitation. Whatever she needs, my strength, my life, take it all. He pressed his forehead to Lorelei's, and their bond blazed to life. The excess power tearing her apart began flowing into him. But unlike poison, this completed something that had always been missing. Through their connection, Lorelei found herself in a vast spiritual plane where two wolves stood hers, magnificent silver gold, and his, midnight black with stars for eyes. You came for me, her wolf said in wonder. Always, his wolf replied. But love, you're becoming something beyond me, never beyond. We rise together or not at all. In the physical realm, Cain had collapsed without his alpha power, reduced to a common wolf. The 30 warriors who'd knelt remained in submission, while the 20 who'd surrendered asked for mercy. Through her expanded consciousness, Lirelei could feel every wolf for miles, including her sister. Katara. She reached out through their bond. I'm coming for you. Sister, be careful. The power you carry, it demands a price. But I have fragments of the old Luna Prime essence hidden within me. I can help stabilize you, but only if we're together. In the throne room, Lirelei's eyes snapped open, swirling silver and gold. She stood, power radiating in waves that made everyone step back. I need to go to her, my sister. Now. You can barely, Theron began. I am Luna Prime. I am Alpha-born, and my blood calls to me. She turned to the captured Forsaken wolves. Those who surrendered with honor may stay. Those who knelt in recognition may join us. Cain comes with us to face justice. The rest flee now, or face judgment. The journey to the Forsaken Pack's territory took only 3 hours with Lirelei's new power. Theron stayed beside her, their bond allowing him to share her strength. When they arrived at the dungeons, Lirelei's heart shattered. Katara was chained in silver, gaunt, bruised, and heavily pregnant. But when she saw Lirelei, she smiled. Sister, you're more beautiful than I imagined. Lirelei shattered the chains with a touch, catching Katara as she fell. We're getting you out. Listen. Katara gripped her hand. The child I carry, it's not Cain's. I let another claim me in secret, a good man who died protecting me. But Cain's blood claim remains while he lives. Then we end it properly, Lirelei said. The Council of Elders had followed, along with Aldrich and the restrained Cain. The council has decided. Elder Matthias announced formally. Cain Bloodmoon will face trial by Luna Prime judgment. Cain, powerless, still snarled cruelly at Katara. My Omega, my child. Neither were ever yours. Lirelei stood. Katara, tell them everything. Katara's voice was weak but clear. He poisoned Alpha Marcus for 3 months, then killed him in fair combat. He's done the same to 17 others. He forced himself on countless Omegas, myself included. Truth, Sarabeth said quietly. The last charge will prove it all if needed. The confession broke from Cain against his will, compelled by Luna Prime presence. Yes, Luna Primes are too dangerous. They had to die. The world belongs to Alphas. And now? Lirelei asked. I'd kill you all if I could. Hunt every Luna wolf to extinction. Then face justice. Lirelei's form shimmered. I challenge you in the ancient way. Your life against mine. I accept, Cain said desperately. Even powerless, he was still large and trained. In the courtyard, hundreds gathered to witness. Cain shifted first, still impressive despite lacking alpha power. Lirelei's transformation was magnificent. Light exploded, revealing a massive silver-gold wolf. Cain attacked immediately. But Lirelei didn't just fight, she pulled his memories through residual blood magic, broadcasting his crimes to everyone present. The crowd's mood shifted from curiosity to horror. When Cain made his final desperate attack, Lirelei caught him, her jaws at his throat. Yield. Never. Then receive fitting justice. Her power surged, and she did something extraordinary. She stripped him of his wolf entirely, severing the connection permanently. Cain collapsed, fully human, unable to shift ever again. You'll live as a human, Lirelei declared, shifting back. Powerless, as you made others feel. But the celebration was cut short. Katara collapsed, going into labor. Blood pooled beneath her. The child comes, she gasped. But something's wrong. We're both dying. No! Lirelei dropped beside her sister, hands glowing with silver-gold light. But when her healing touched Katara, she recoiled. The child was wrapped in death magic, Cain's final curse, triggered by his loss of power. He always knew the child wasn't his. Katara gasped through contractions. He cursed it if he lost his power, we'd both die. High Healer Garrett's assessment was devastating. Death magic of the darkest kind. It's already taking them. Elder Catherine approached with the codex. There is one way. The life exchange ritual. You can trade your Luna Prime, essence for their lives, but you'll become completely mortal. No, Theron's voice was absolute. It's my choice, Lirelei said softly. She looked at the gathered wolves Omegas who'd found hope, Sarabeth clutching the nearly spent locket, Aldrich standing with newfound honor. Then she looked at Theron. Through their bond, she felt his anguished understanding. The world needs Luna Primes, she said quietly, but not more than children need mothers. Sisters need each other. The ritual was simple intent, sacrifice, and love. Lirelei placed her hands on Katara's swollen belly and let everything flow out her Luna Prime essence, her alpha power, and her wolf. The courtyard exploded with light. Through it, visions flashed of two possible futures. In one, she remained Luna Prime but haunted by her sister's death. In another, she was mortal but surrounded by love. Choose, a voice whispered. Power or heart? My heart. Always. The transfer reached its peak. She felt her wolf, departing, not dying, but moving to where it was needed. Every enhanced cell became merely human. Then a baby's cry. Perfect. Alive. Beautiful. When the light faded, Lirelei collapsed, completely human. But Katara was breathing, holding her newborn son. The curse is broken, Garrett confirmed, amazed. Theron knelt beside Lirelei, his face showing pride and pain. Their supernatural bond was severed. I'm not what you claimed anymore, she whispered. If you want... He silenced her with a desperate kiss. You're exactly who I claimed, the woman who chose love over godhood. Papa's right, Sarabeth said. The locket pulsed one final time with its last charge. Mama says watch this. The third charge activated, showing everyone the truth, not crimes, but love. Every sacrifice, every compassionate choice Lirelei had made. But then something unexpected happened. Katara stood, her eyes now holding silver swirls. The Luna Prime essence didn't die, she said wonderingly. It transferred. To me and to Marcus here. The power will grow in us slowly, carefully, without forcing. Power freely given in love doesn't die. It transforms, Elder Catherine explained. Lirelei planted it like a seed. Aldrich knelt before Lirelei. I pledge my life to you. You showed me redemption is possible. One by one, wolves began kneeling, not commanded, but choosing. Rise, Lirelei said. I'm no Luna Prime now. You're something better, an elderly Omega said through tears. Your hope. They marked Cain for exile, a brand ensuring he could never return to wolf territories. Elder Catherine addressed Lirelei. You may not be Luna Prime, but you remain Theron's true mate. Will you accept the position of Luna Queen? A human Luna Queen, someone called. One who sacrificed divinity for love, Theron corrected. Who better? The pack voted unanimously. 1 year later. On the night of a blood moon eclipse, Lirelei woke to living moonlight. The moon goddess herself appeared. Hello, daughter. I'm not your daughter anymore. You gave up the burden, not the birthright. You broke the cycle of Luna Primes becoming tyrants. You democratized divinity itself. The goddess smiled mysteriously. Your humanity isn't as permanent as you think. As the eclipse peaked, pain lanced through Lirelei, not transformation, but evolution. Baby Marcus, now walking, toddled over. His tiny hand glowed as he shared a fragment of the power she'd given him. Lirelei found herself changed, not fully human, not fully wolf, but balanced between. She couldn't fully shift, but she had enhanced strength, senses, and healing. You're becoming what we were meant to be, explained Grandmother Winter, an ancient wolf who'd come to witness the bridge between worlds. 9 months later, Lirelei gave birth to twins with silver eyes, children who would help heal the ancient divide between wolf and human. Years later, the Northern Pack had become a beacon of progress. Omega rights were law. Human-wolf marriages were celebrated. The rigid hierarchies had softened into something more just. But the greatest change was in their stories. They no longer told tales of the mighty Luna Prime, who commanded through power, but of Lirelei the Brave, who gave up godhood for love. In the Codex, new words had appeared in silver ink. Here ends the age of the Luna Prime alone, and begins the age of the Luna Hearts, those who lead through sacrifice and love. The story ended simply. Lyra lay, now touched with gray, watching her children play with Marcus and Sarabeth, while Theron dozed beside her, his head in her lap. She had given up the power to reshape the world with magic, only to discover she could reshape it with something far more powerful: love, determination, and the courage to choose others over herself. And that, the moon goddess whispered on the wind, was the greatest magic of all.